Okay, warning, 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 warning. This video may trigger you, but just please calm down. It's all gonna work out in the end, and let's go through. Let's start here. Do you remember 9 years ago, Penny Sparrow wrote something like this? These monkeys that are allowed to be released on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day onto public beaches and towns, they obviously have no education. Okay, so these monkeys have no education whatsoever. So to allow them loose is inviting dirt, troubles, discomfort. Okay, so seems so far she's talking about monkeys that have no education, that bring dirt, troubles, and discomfort. Oh, South Africa. Okay, I'm sorry to say I was among the revelers. Okay, so the monkeys are actually the revelers. Okay, and I saw were black skins. What a shame. Okay, so the monkeys she's talking about are actually black-skinned people. So it's black people who are revelers that are bringing dirt, troubles, and discomfort. I do know some wonderful, thoughtful black people. Okay, so she kind of does the, I don't know, I have a black friend type of thing. Okay, so she's saying, I'm not talking about all black people, but these ones who are not educated and they make things dirty, trouble, and discomfort. All right. She says, but this lot, so the one she's describing, of monkeys, calls them monkeys, just don't want to even try. So these uneducated don't even try, they dirty the place, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but now the same ones want to talk about law, and now we have to abide by their law. I don't know if she's talking about them, that they have a right to vote or whatever. From now on, I guess it's what she meant, I will address blacks of South Africa. I don't know if it includes the wonderful, thoughtful ones, but okay, of South Africa, as monkeys, as I see the cute little wild monkeys do the same. What do? They drop stuff and litter. Okay. Oh, South Africa. Do you think anything happened? Oh, you bet something happened. Twitter took over. Twitter went home, and this is what happened on Twitter.
Penny Sparrow has been on the tip of everyone's Twitter fingers for the last 24 hours as this Yarwood's property former employee posted a racist comment on her Facebook on Saturday. Sparrow referred to the majority of this country as monkeys and shared that black people, and I quote, littered the beaches on New Year's Day. The slander continued as Sparrow suggested that black people know nothing more than to litter, much like monkeys. Twitter streets came tumbling on Sparrow, calling her out for her hate speech and demanded that her employer take serious action. With her number and personal address made public, well, Twitter users had a field day flooding her with images and emoticons of monkeys from her favorite monkeys. We took to Twitter to see people's opinions on this very disturbing topic. Mongasutu said, people like Penny Sparrow are a disgrace to society. Human Rights Commission will be hearing from the IFP. We hate racism with a passion. Menzi said, the Penny Sparrow incident is very disturbing. I reported it to the CEO of the EAAB for immediate action. Official statements will follow. Roshan tweeted, Penny Sparrow probably felt like she won Facebook after that comment, and then came the consequences and reactions. And of course, she definitely felt the heat and later apologized, saying that her comment was in no way racial. Katlego shared, how long will it take to realize that South Africa has not changed? Democracy, freedom, Rainbow Nation are all illusions. Dumi shared a tweet in a little bit of a light-hearted manner saying, well, I still love bananas. Now let us know what you think on this dynamic and very serious topic.
All right, so then she apologized. They didn't show that tweet too much, but Then that wasn't all. Woo! The world caught fire.
Businesses in Scottsboro shut their doors today as thousands marched on the town. This after Sparrow's racist rant calling black people who attended Durban's beaches in December monkeys.
I'm here to support the march. I'm totally against any form of racism whatsoever.
Sparrow has since resigned from the Democratic Alliance, and Jowet's estate agency has distanced itself from her comments.
We want racism to be a punishable offense with a minimum at least of 15 years behind bars. Because one of the reasons why South Africa is like this today was because a certain race thought it was superior to the other.
We must build this non-racialism, but we're also cautioning South Africans not to fall into the trap of those who in any event are against the agenda of transforming this country.
The ANC says it will continue fighting racism at all costs.
But now it didn't end with the backlash. So we heard that I think she was kicked out or she resigned from the DA. I think she lost her job as an estate agent. And so, I mean, it was huge. So there was backlash. Awesome stuff. Then what happened next?
A comment spurring an unprecedented backlash. The ANC, joined by black professionals and even DJs, laying criminal charges.
Oh, wait. Is that DJ Smooth? Oh, that's DJ Smooth. Okay, so he was there too.
The ANC, joined by black professionals and even DJs, laying criminal charges against Sparrow and Hart.
We decided to come here today, individually and collectively, to come and lay a charge of criminal injury and incitement to violence.
Okay, whoa, I don't get. Criminal injury means to injure someone's feelings, kind of thing, you know, in a strong way. Incitement to violence? Who said who must kill, hurt, shoot, burn, harm anyone physically? Okay, anyway, I don't know, because there were a couple of cases, so they went out. Let's hear.
To come and lay a charge of criminal injury and incitement to violence to a number of persons, not only to Penny Sparrow. There are a number of other persons who have made similar statements in the past, which in our view, I think, are an incitement to violence in the country. South Africa has never been so racially polarized.
For us as a Progressive Professionals Forum, we have a serious problem with a kind of racist and insightful utterances by Chris Hart, and also seconded in the social media by Duncan McLeod. We think that utterances that seek to suggest that black people have got some kind of an entitlement, the utterances that say that black people are now hating what he refers to as the minorities, we think that's got a potential to further polarize the country.
The ANC wants to go a step further. It's calling for specific legislation to criminalize any act that perpetuates racism or glorifies apartheid.
We have seen the rise in acts of racial bigotry. Our black South African being called monkeys and other racist epithets. We are saying, as the ANC in Parliament, that it's about time that we relook at the current provision in the law to deal with such kind of racist accidents and glorification of apartheid. And we are saying that it's about time that we reconsider, we reevaluate, we amend the current existing legislation.
Human Settlements Minister Lindiwe Sisulu has met the Estate Agency Affairs Board, ostensibly to probe the possibility of having Sparrow's license revoked. The Human Rights Commission is also investigating her comments. It could lead to formal legal steps if her comments are deemed to infringe on the human rights of black people. The Black Business Council says it will be seeking urgent meetings with chief executives of Standard Bank and Jowet's, Sparrow's former employer. Standard Bank has since suspended HEART. Dumalo Mohlaudi, SABC News, Johannesburg.
A very interesting piece there.
All right, so everybody came out. The ANC went to open a case and all of that, and that's all normal in a democracy. But what happened after that is that the ANC actually took her to Equality Court. She got a fine of 150,000. She spoke. Everybody jumped on her. And we mustn't confuse it. And then she was punished by the state for what she said. Okay, so now Nota Baloyi was with DJ Smoo. This is what he said.
The problem that South Africans have right now is that we don't understand white people. White people are inferior species to us. We are Homo sapiens. They've got Neanderthal blood in them. This is the science, and this is not science that was done by black people, it was done by them. You understand? Abu Clive W. Lewis, they were eugenicists. They studied this, and they realized that they're inferior to blacks.
Margaret Sanger from the US.
Well, I mean, she was more about controlling the birth of blacks.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, but the reason why they did
eugenics
that... Eugenics, right? Yes. Yeah. So the waist to hip ratio determines how well a woman is able to give birth. And we've got the highest waist to hip ratio in the world. You know what I mean? Women have got small waists and really big hips or big bums.
Here's some more. Carries on here. Same interview. This is what he says.
And again, I want to explain this so that people don't think that, I'm being racist by saying whites are inferior genetically. We've got different categories of evolution of apes. Evolution of apes. You know what I mean? If we are all apes, we are at the echelon of that. Whites are a step below because they've also got Neanderthal DNA. You know what I mean? Which is a previous ancestor of ours. So we expect to have Ubuntu, humanity. Unfortunately, by the strictest definition of what a human being is, white people are just below human beings. You are negotiating with an animal, a wild dog that you're trying to train to be tamed, to be ubobi, who guards your house. You can never do that. So we're expecting Ubuntu from them. We're like, you stole our land, you butchered our people and everything else. And we just want justice. We're not out for your blood. We're not chopping off your heads. We're not doing anything. Why don't you guys understand that? Why don't you guys have Ubuntu? Why don't you guys have a heart? They don't, because they're incapable of that.
Because
you cannot expect the same behavior of a human being that you're expecting of a dog.
Yo.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if a dog chews up your couch, you're not going to beat your dog because he chewed up your couch.
Because it's a dog.
You know what I mean? You're going to be like, damn, why didn't I lock the dog somewhere where it can't chew up the couch? So us as black people, we need to now start being smarter. We need to start understanding what we are dealing with. Because we're not dealing with a who. We're dealing with a what.
Oh.
You understand? And when we deal with this what of savages, because that's their history. Everywhere in the world, white people have gone and progressed. They've progressed because of savagery. They've killed people. They've decimated populations everywhere, around the entire globe. There's not a place where the sun shines that white people have not decimated the people in the world.
All right. So wait. So Penny Sparrow likened black people to monkeys and kind of said, and I'm not talking about the thoughtful whatever ones, I'm talking about these ones. So the insult, which I do not approve of, let's make it clear, was linked to an action. Nota is now linking it to an action. He's saying, I'm calling white people whatever because of what has happened in history with colonization, conquests, and things like that in Australia and whatever. And I get that. And once again, I don't approve. I'm not making a case for either. I'm just describing. But he goes further. He says, no, white people are animals. Before that, not just because of anything they've done, but they are animals scientifically. They have Neanderthal DNA, so they are animals, not like just they act like animals or they do animalish things. He says they are animals. You can't even talk to, they are not human beings. Okay, so what happens next is, the Human Rights Commission, 24th of Feb, they say they're going to take him to court and demand an apology, diversity sensitive training, a fine, and whatever else they'll put on their case. And they say whoever else wants to open a case at the police station, like we saw with Sparrow, can go. Okay, well, let's cut the video short. The ANC didn't go. Business forums didn't go. As far as I know, no one's gotten him fired. Nothing really has happened. And so what then happens is, and I want to play it with this one. This is a gentleman by Ronaldo Gous, roundabout then when Julius Malema started singing Kill the Boer. He came out on video and he said, kill the caffeinated coffee. Okay. And then he said, you see, how do you feel when I say that? So why do you allow him to say kill the Boer? Okay, once again, just like Sparrow, the DA fired him. He was a member of parliament at that time. So just to give you context in case he talks from there. But now, after the Human Rights Commission released that, this is him talking about what Nota then did after human rights time.
White people came here. They need to assimilate to our culture, not the other way around. It's bad enough we speak their language with a proficiency that they cannot even muster. But they still need to assimilate to our culture. They need to assimilate to Ubuntu. That's the only way in which we can coexist within this environment. Otherwise, we will slaughter all of them, drive them to the sea, literally.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Let's do a action replay of what he just said here.
In this environment. Otherwise, we will slaughter all of them, drive them to the sea, literally.
We will slaughter them, drive them into the sea, literally. So not figuratively, like Nota Baloyi just said, we would literally drive them into the sea and slaughter them. Literally, that's what he said. And now the backtracking starts.
It might not be me.
There we go.
It might not be me calling for it.
I'm not a part of that thing. I'm just allowing him to talk.
No, I'm just saying, it might not be me. It might not be me calling for that. In fact,
you just did. You can't backtrack. You just called for it. And you said literally.
If white people are being driven to the sea, I'm least likely to be in the front lines driving them to the sea.
Yeah, but you are the one that is creating this narrative, right? So that's like the general giving an instruction, not actually physically killing the person, but you are the one that planted the seed.
Right? Because of my disposition.
What is your disposition?
I'm dumb.
As in, I'm a privileged black person in this country.
So why would you want to drive white people to the sea if you're just as privileged as they are?
The majority of black people, right, have been oppressed by white people and the white system. And if at any point they decide that they want to drive people to the sea, I will not discourage them.
Mm-hmm.
This is after Human Rights Commission has said we're taking him to Equality Court. Now, outside of what I just showed you now, Ronaldo Gous speaking out, I saw someone, I think it was Citizen Concern, speak out about it. No backlash, no DJs going to the police station, no ANC saying a word, no march, nothing. Now, what is, I don't know. You tell me in the comments how, if you can see the issue here. First of all, I think this is what I want to say. Let me be clear. I don't believe in government passing laws for what people say. Freedom of speech is important. And I think people should be allowed to say stupid things. I don't like what Penny Sparrow said, but when those marches and all of that was happening and cases were opened, I was unhappy. Because hate speech is not when someone says something I hate to hear them say. Hate speech needs to be hate speech. The 150,000 Penny Sparrow had to pay was wrong. And it is abusive, out of control language, but I don't want to live in a country where people can't say stupid things. And on the other side, coming to Nota, I don't like what Nota is saying. I don't believe it's true. I think he is free to believe he's an ape. There will be dumb black people in South Africa. There will be dumb white people, dumb Indian people, dumb colored people in the country. I don't like their dumbness. I don't want to hear their dumbness. But I don't believe that that power should be handed over to corrupt politicians. And I'm not just talking about the ANC, although that's pretty much their thing. But I don't want that power handed over to media for what people just have said. I'm fine with the ANC marching. I'm fine with any other party marching to create noise and, talk back and forth. I'm fine with a white person going on YouTube and saying Nota is actually less than human. That's why he says we are less. Fine, that's bad. And someone says, oh, so you just want to leave the chaos? No, that's why we're supposed to have presidents. Because the president, if things are going to go out of order, the president, that's why we need a president we respect. Not a president with cases that are just cut our respect. The president is the one who must come up. It can be managed by leadership. President or some kind of leader can come out and say, guys, please stop talking about this, who's more superior to who. We are all unfortunately, our president only comes out on such matters when he's got to hide his corruption, and then he's going to come out and say we will end racism everywhere. So leadership manages that, but courts should not manage anyone's speech. And yes, you heard me. I know you've watched my videos talking about, the Marxism I hate with Julius Malema. I do agree that they should be able to sing Kill the Boer. And if it causes problems, I don't blame him. I blame the leadership of the country. But the court is not the one that must tell someone of anything that is covered within freedom of speech. And our leadership does say nothing because it serves them, because Marxists make money and power from anger, resentment, and envy. And we are being played with this race nonsense so that keep black people angry. We keep our votes, we keep our tenders, we keep our money. So our leadership will never come out to say, guys, wait, you're all children of one country, you all under one flag. Stop it. So no, I stand with freedom of speech, whether you're white, If you ever came out and said caffeinated something because you're on whatever tip you're on, well, here's the thing. You're going to get backlash from political parties. Some people are going to get you fired. Some people are going to start avoiding you. And, well, there we go. You should have seen that coming. You can get fired. You can get cancelled and all of that. But I disagree about the courts taking any action, because you are my fellow citizen and I will defend your right to say stupid things. And it's the same with Nota. He's talking nonsense, but I defend his right to say it. Balanced scale. See, we can never have a balanced scale when we are sucked in to this Marxist dogma. Proverbs 11 says, dishonest scale or an unbalanced scale is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. A dishonest scale is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. We need to treat every issue based on right and wrong, good or bad, effective or ineffective. For as long as we treat it on black or white, everyone will march when a white lady says something that's much less than what a black guy said. Because the white lady, we understood it's based on something that she observed. The black guy says it's based on science. Of course, he spoke about observations, but he says, no, they are less than human by science. No march, no nothing. That is an unbalanced scale. That is an unjust scale. It is disgusting to the Lord. This is disgusting. It's an abomination to the Lord. It is disgusting. And unfortunately, the church in South Africa has been captured by Marxism, which says there's no good or bad, there's only oppressor and oppressed. There's no right and wrong, there's only black and white. He said, you believers are the salt of the earth, meaning what? The earth is a mess, but when you are there, you add some flavor. But if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. In this country, there is no respect for pastors because they talk like the world, especially you black pastors. You talk like the world, you sound like the world, you're as bitter as the world, you're as envious as the world, you are as resentful as the world, because you have not chosen to stick with right and wrong, good and bad. You allowed Marxists to come to your churches and convince you to drop good and bad and go for black and white, to drop right and wrong to go for oppressed and oppressor. Meaning, even when things go wrong, you are good for nothing and they put you under, they trample on you. They use you as promotional tools during voting time. He says, you are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. You can't light a lamp and put it underground. So let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Woo! This was heavy. So here's the thing. I don't judge Nota. I don't judge anyone who's ever going to come out and say something that is just truly hateful. Especially if they're black and it's based on our history. I understand. They cannot forgive because they don't have what I have. You as a believer, they can't think straight. They can't come out of the anger. They can't come out of the resentment, the envy. They can't forgive. But as a believer, you are stronger than them. Weak people can't forgive. Weak people can't drop resentment. Weaker people can't drop envy. They need to see us who are strengthened by the fact that I know Jesus forgave my sins, and from that revelation, I'm able to forgive the unforgivable. And when the voice of someone who's not angry keeps coming out in the country, guess what happens? You become light to the world, because some people get deceived by someone's anger positioned in political terms. But now when your voice is out there, they're able to say, oh, okay, we can forgive, and actually think the point right now is to have a prosperous country, not to punish apartheid, but to reward the future. Not to go with revenge, which we, of course, put it as fixing the injustices of the past while creating the injustices of the future. A future we live in right now, where in many ways, black people's lives, in many measurements, are worse than they were under apartheid. I don't know, if maybe I'm talking nonsense. If you think I'm saying something worthwhile, then press a like. But I want to say to believers, this was intense, wasn't it? I want to say to believers, no man can serve two masters, because either he will love the one and hate the other, or he will respect the one and disrespect the other. You cannot serve God and Marx. Let me hear you in the comments below after you've you've rung that bell. Let me hear your thoughts below, and we'll see you on the next one.